Hello everybody and welcome back to stream! Oh, what is happening? Welcome back to stream! Welcome back to Horror Sunday service. I'm a little late today because my mom wanted to have pedicures. So that's why I'm just a tad late today. This stream will probably be a little short this week. I was absent last week, because because I had a family emergency and I could not be home. But we're back today. Everything's okay, by the way. Everything's fine. But we're back. We're back this week. I wasn't sure what I wanted to stream, honestly. I was looking through my games and I was like, what should I stream? What haven't I streamed in a while? And you know, I haven't ever since I've returned, aka like 3 weeks ago, and then I was absent for 1 week. Ever since then, I haven't really played a horror game for Horror Sunday service. So I thought, oh my gosh, sorry, you're gonna hear my creaky chair. I figured I'd play this game, which I've been meaning to play for a while, but I really wanted to play it on stream, and I just did not have time. So here we are. I read the description of this, like the general description, and I saw some screenshots, which I was like, "Ooh, this looks cool." I have forgotten everything I read, so we're just gonna hop in. So, I think this game is not too short. I think it has like a couple little bits here and there. I hope the sound is okay. We'll deal with that later. Okay, let's give it a go. Oh, here we go. Yep, that's it. This game contains content with blood, death, violence, unhealthy relationships between characters, and horrific imagery that players may find uncomfortable or disturbing. Player discretion is advised. Please play responsibly and take care of yourself. Thank you. Content warning. Very well. Here we go. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so I'm already like, woohoo! Sorry. Adjustments. Okay. Ooh, that's cool. Ooh, okay. Drag myself through the rain. It blurs my vision, forcing me to feel my way through the forest. Wind crushing against me from all sides. It blurs my vision, forcing me to feel my way through the forest. Wind crushing against me from all sides. Prayer is my only form of navigation, but I think the blood running through my veins prevents me from landing in God's graces. Oh. Are we curseded? We sound curseded. I fumble over the tangle of roots and slip over wet moss. My bones instantly shudder from the cold shock running through my nails as I grab onto a nearby rock. A pathetic whine escapes my throat. Ooh, that's rough. My grandmother would have a ball if she could see me now. I can hear her snide remark already. See what happens when you don't listen to me? As if I wouldn't survive long enough to hear the real deal. I sniffle in frustration and try to shake the feeling away with the rain dripping down my face. She's always right, of course. For a moment, my defiance had given me everything I wanted. Lost in thought, I lose control of my limbs. I'm not used to seeing them all at once, and it's enough to throw me back into the slick earth. Now, I really want to cry. The storm is harsh. A thick canopy of trees above me does little to shield me from its rage. They passively turn their leaves away instead, tempting me to scream my grandmother's harshest curses at them. Am I losing it? I shakily lift myself from the ground, snorting weakly into a puddle. For the middle of summer, it sure is pouring hard. The rain feels like shards of ice against my skin. I watch it distort the reflection in the puddle with ripples. In the brief moments where the reflection almost settles, I see piercing yellow eyes, dark fur, and wilted ears sleek and clinging onto the small, vulnerable form of a wolf pup. The voice of my grandmother hisses in my mind. What have you done, Basil? Basil? I didn't know this was Maury. No, this is terrible, sorry. Every time I hear Basil, I just think of little Basil, you know? I need to get back home. I tear away from the puddle and trek on. Please, something lead me back home. Something. Anything. Maybe that's a risky thing to ask of this forest, though. Because something answers. It's so faint that I question if it's even real. A howl cuts through the wind, or perhaps it's the wind that shrinks away from the sound that ambles through. Finding my way through the storm has exhausted my body. The frontal lobe of my brain begins to neglect its responsibility to remember what reason is. All my instincts scream to ignore it, but my heart, a stupidly curious thing, makes me take a step forward. My fuzzy ears pick up the heavy sounds of my heart pounding. I try to convince myself it's because of fear. I need to focus on where the howling's coming from. As I get closer to the sound, it begins to resemble crying. The storm has also started to retract its claws. Was it the forest showing mercy? Or has it submitted to something more formidable? I've lived in the woods my whole life. I should know better than anyone to never get too comfortable. A red light perforates the dark atmosphere. I swallow harshly. There's a mansion in the middle of the woods. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no, vampire house. Vampire house. Stranger danger. Stranger danger. From a distance, it would look abandoned, if not for the hazy red light coming from the rooftop. I squint. Is that a greenhouse? A shadowy figure moves quickly behind its clear walls, startling me. I duck into the tall and neglected grass that grows in the mansion's yard. After a short while, I peek through the blades. The shadow is gone. Did I imagine it? I release a nervous sigh and observe the grounds for any sign of life or death. It was a bad idea to come here. A terrible one, even. I can't stay here. I retreat back into the shadows of the forest, keeping the mansion in my light of sight. The moment I feel bold enough to turn my back against it, a powerful gale slams into me. I tumble back hard, skidding across the ground and into the tall grass with a cry. It takes me a moment to recover from my swirling vision. I let out a whimper as pain blooms from my arm. It's too dark to see clearly, but it wells up when I try to move. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. I grip my teeth and get back on my feet, keeping my weight off my arm as I make for the forest again. Again, I am denied entrance by the mysterious force. Ooh, the words be going. Panic starts to seep through my bones. I almost wish I could go back to feeling hopeless. I stare at the trees as though they'll suddenly start playing nice. But beings as ancient as them do not bend to anyone's will but their own. The wind gives one more shove. It insists I move forward. I bare my adolescent fangs at it to smother the hurt. I know now that my choices were nothing but illusions. I face the mansion once again. It's clear that something, or someone, from the inside is inviting me in. With no other choice, I creep along the worn brick walls of the mansion and try to find a way in. Oh boy, okay. To a window, to the cellar, to the... Okay. Well. Let's see, oh no, it's a window. If it's beckoning us in, it's gonna let us in. But maybe let's do, well, first of all, I'm gonna save. I'm really bad at saving, forgive me. So turn. I would go to the cellar, but I want to know what... A faint knocking grabs my attention. I pad to the back of the mansion, and my saving grace comes in the form of a door left slightly ajar. Ah, yes. Slightly ajar. Ah! I nudge my nose into the tight gap, and relief washes over me when it parts. Then... An ear-piercing screech echoes through the mansion as the hinges begin to shift. From the looks of it, they haven't moved for a long time. The feeling of ice floods my veins. I stay frozen in the doorway. If this mansion is inhabited, there's no way I didn't just announce my entrance. Fear takes over again. My back paw intuitively steps back so I can attempt to run as far away from this place as I can. I need to work on my sound effects. The sound of thunder explodes, but oh, it's that sound. Okay. The sound of thunder explodes behind me. I feel my body take on a life of its own as I throw myself into the mansion against my will. The door slams on my way in. This house is okay. Like, this house seems cool. I breathe shallowly. When I come to my senses, I'm in a kitchen. It's dark inside the house. The only source of light comes from the windows above the counters. Everything beyond its reach is a void. See a kitchen table and crawl towards it, scratching my nails along the musty wood flooring in a rush to get beneath it. Stay under the table as my breathing starts returning to a normal pace. My eyes are wide and my ears are perked up, on the lookout for anything that could be a threat. The only sounds I pick up are the heavy drums, heavy drums of rain from outside, and the occasional creak of the mansion walls, breathing in the night air. When I'm confident that there's no sign of life inside this manor, I crawl back into the open and immediately shake off as much rain and mud as I can. I let myself celebrate the minor luxury of finally escaping the maws of the weather, but I don't let my nerves calm down just yet. Bro, this is... Hold on. I'm gonna take a break for a second. As in, like, story break. We're a wolf. Like, that's buzzing. You know? We are terrified. I am even more scared. I'm more afraid for my safety. As soon as my eyes adjust to the better to the dark, I take the time to study my surroundings more. I notice a hearth that lacks any recent maintenance. Dishes crowd the counter, and a thick layer of dust forces me to smother a sneeze. This place hasn't been occupied in a long time. Surely I can allow myself to breathe just a little... Surely I can allow myself to breathe just a little bit easier in this place, at least until the storm wanes. I bring in a deep inhale, being careful not to get any dust, and tread cautiously. As I stalk further in, I hold my breath at every corner, carefully looking in all directions for danger. The rest of the mansion is devoid of life as the kitchen. Well, I'm gonna observe really quick. Ooh, it's mushy rooms, candles, some interesting scritches over here, little scratches, some paintings. I don't see no paintings of people as of now, so a couple of doors. Okay. Oh, those curtains are nice, like little hallway curtains are nice. Most of the rooms here have closed doors. The ones I could see, the ones I could see in were graciously empty, sans the derelict furnishings within. Barely anything is in decent shape. I couldn't guess how long it's been since a human lived in this manor, but based on the scratched hardwood floors and the broken but intricate-looking side table nestled in a dark corner, I have the impression that this place was neglected, even while it was occupied. My nails tap on the floor as I limp into the hallway, my mind settling from all the adrenaline. The ache in my front leg starts to swell, the heat of my body intensifies the pain. Paintings line the walls from end to end, but it's hard to see them in the dark. Through glimpses of light, I can make out some faded landscapes, a few mountains, some castles, and a couple of portraits. One portrait in particular catches my eye. I stop in front of it. Stare at the portrait, foolishly thinking that it's staring right back. Oh, honey. Surely it's just the right fever. Oh, the slight fever setting in and making me come up with silly things. I don't think I've lost my mind just yet, though. As I observe the side profile of a pale woman, I notice that she's eerily the most realistic painting I've seen so far. Oh, I hear the BGM. When she turns her head to look down at my tiny form, every hair on my body goes stiff. Her lovely features captured in oil begin to melt off as she steps out from the painting. Oh, hee hee hee. Okay, yeah, so sorry, I'm cracking up. Smooth ivory skin shrivels to a deathly pallor. The elaborate gown clinging to her sharp shoulders begins to rot as her torso parts like a blooming rose, revealing decaying bone and organs that run down her skirt like horrific decor. That sounds kind of buzzing. Like, woo! Hi. That's not what I was expecting. But hey, I immediately start running away as fast as I physically can. Which is kind of bad though, you know what I'm saying? As I scramble to get away on my hurt leg, I hear something that might be worse than a ghost. The woody and spicy scent of incense fills the humid air, creating a hazy purple fog. The sound of chains moving in a controlled rhythm rattles me to the marrow in my bones. Footsteps follow shortly after, growing louder alongside the clinking chains. It's coming from the staircase. My breath quickens. I slide to a halt and backtrack away from the sounds. I look behind me and see the glowing apparition of the woman's hunched form stumbling towards me, dragging a trail of gore. I'm really making this not scary because I keep messing up my words. Dragging a trail of gore with a wet squelch. Hide! I need to hide! But where? My eyes dart across every inch of the hallway, desperately searching for a small sanctuary. The footsteps are right behind me. The ghost is in front of me. This hallway now feels like a tomb. All the doors are firmly shut. I press against a wall, my heart skipping a beat when I notice a faint tapping sound coming from behind me. I turn around and witness the outline of a door revealing itself. I waste no time shoving my muzzle between the crack to wrench it open. As soon as I pry the door open, I hurl myself through, back into darkness. I walk backwards away from the door, keeping my eyes on it. I'm so focused that I bump into something cold and almost trip over it. I look up and see a dark iron staircase curling up to a high ceiling. The hatch near the top is open, letting the rain from the outside drip down onto the cold metal. We're going upstairs. No. I hear footsteps once again, this time much louder. I don't dare to breathe or move. Ooh. Ooh! I was like, come on, baby. There you are. The voice startles me into moving. No way was I about to stick around and find out what fate awaits me. Every fiber of my being is ringing with danger as I climb the stairs, with only adrenaline instructing my limbs. I drag myself up the iron steps until I'm bursting onto the roof and back into the storm. I'm not thinking anymore. I see the greenhouse I had spotted earlier, and sprint toward it as fast as I can. I search for a small space to crawl into, tripping over a mess of vines along the way. Thunder and lightning roar above me. A bright flash of white blinds me. I can feel my claws scratching against the wet tiles. A door slams shut in the distance, causing a rippling effect in the walls and reaching the rooftop. When the rippling stops, everything goes quiet. The energy of the manor shifts completely. A jolt of lightning from the storm makes my fur stand, charges the air and saturates it with the smell of ozone. I shake the rain from my face. The whole world has fallen silent, except for the sound of a chilling drip. Basil. I freeze. My eyes carefully follow the coil of dead roots on the gray floor of the greenhouse. Drip. I follow its trail, all the way to the blood dripping onto the dirty tiles and the pale feet beside it. Drip. My eyes climb the mysterious figure. I don't think I'll ever forget the sight before me for as short as I live. Drip. Lightning flashes brightly through the tall windows. Blooming rose bushes creep along them, white roses speckled across its dark leaves like stars in the night sky. The bright flowers begin to bleed red before my very eyes. As the rose bush's crimson soaks center, a small girl stands with her back towards me. Blood drips from tiny bite marks all over her hand. A red flower bulb is crushed between her delicate fingers. Drip, drip, drip. Instead of a strong floral scent, the smell of burning paper and wilting lilacs floods my senses. A whine unwillingly crawls up my throat and cuts through the silence. Time resumes once again. The girl turns, her gaze piercing right through me. The bulb drops from her hand. She doesn't say a word. Her attention is mine, against my own will. Black dots begin to appear in the corners of my vision. The last thing I saw was her walking towards me, before everything faded to dark. My fever is brutal throughout the night. I slip in and out of consciousness to flames beneath my skin and an ache I'd rather sleep off than face. I try to let my body go back to sleep, but strong hands force my jaws open and shove something down my throat. The intrusion makes me violently resist, but I am far too weak to fend the intruder away. The dark takes me into its arms once again. I wake to the tang of rusty metal and humid air. The unfamiliar sensation makes my eyes snap open. Beyond the small cage that holds me, it's dark and damp. I clench my jaw as I examine my surroundings. Soon, my eyes fixate on the ghost staring at me from outside my metal prison. I yelp and throw my body backwards, hitting the back of the cage. I expect the bite of hard metal on my back, but something smooth bends around my shape instead. It hisses at me in response. I don't think it liked it very much. My claws scrape the cold floor of the cage as I spin. The bars behind me morph into slithering vipers in defensive stances, each one baring their fangs in anger. Careful. Their venom will make the blood in your body solidify in seconds. That wouldn't be a very pleasant way to die. I look at the ghost in horror. I'm breathing so quickly that I'm convinced I'll die from lack of oxygen, or so I think. The vipers settle back into metal bars and I make myself small. I don't want to risk testing their patience again. The ghost is not a ghost, but a girl. Her hair looks like ink that's been violently knocked over and spilled on the floor. It melts into the dark surroundings, contrasting her gray and sickly-looking skin. Her expression is blank. I see her hands tightly clutching her white gown. Do you bite? Do you? I want to ask. I reveal my teeth through a snarl and watch as she shows hers with a small smile. The fur along my spine stands up. She starts to move and I flinch. The girl crawls toward the cage and I curl my nails. She reaches for me a pale hand passing between the bars without resistance. It freezes right in front of my snout. Is she checking to see if I would really bite? Has she no fear, offering her hand so fearlessly in the presence of a beast? I may only be a pup, but the sheer force of my jaws can pierce right through her palm. I repel. I pull my face away. That scared me. I didn't realize there would be a countdown. I pull my face away from her hand and see her startle from my peripheral vision. She pulls her hand back and holds it against her collar. My eyes lock with hers. She stares at me with her lips pressed together. It'll be hard for me to protect you if you're too scaredy cat to do as I say. My eyes snap back to the girl. I watch as she stands up and wipes her hand on her dress, not showing a single care about how dirty it's become. If you want to survive, you'll have to listen to my instructions. Okay, doggy? She tilts her head like she expects me to respond. Don't try to be too brave. If you're smart, you'll stay careful. The others had too much fight in them. It made them foolish. My heart pounds in my chest from her words alone. She gives me another haunting smile. When your arm is better, I'll take you for a walk before he gets back. Is this what she sounds like when she's excited? It's unsettling. She suddenly moves close to the cage again. I jump and back away, just enough where I don't risk getting into trouble with the vipers again. The scent of burning parchment and wilting lilacs returns. The girl's hair falls off her shoulders. I expected ink to trickle down and dye her dress black. My name is Dove. Horrible to meet you, Dove. Ooh, like that. Before I continue, let's establish some things. I am a wolf. I'm a wolf. And I have found myself in this, obviously haunted house. I don't know. Maybe they're crazy people. I don't know. We don't know. Maybe a house of corpses. I don't know. But I don't want to assume. And now we have found ourselves plaything of this strange, possibly ghosty lady. And that's where we're at right now. We're in a cage next to some vipers. We gotta be cool. You know. Alright. Oh, and I also have one bad injured leg. So that's fun. Alright, Basil. What we gonna do today? I mean, tonight. Right now. In the club. Okay. I spent the night nursing the dregs of my fever. When I'd first woken up, I didn't take notice of how much had already been soothed. But now vague memories of violating hands surface my thoughts. Did the girl, Dove, give me some kind of medicine during the height of my fever? My body still feels uncomfortably warm. Comfortably warm, sorry. I rest my hand on one arm. I glance at the one that had been hurt earlier. A clean bandage is firmly wrapped around it. Not enough to cut off the blood flow, but enough to restrict its movement. Was this also Dove's handiwork? I sigh softly through my nose, then close my eyes. Time passes ambiguously in the cage. With nothing to reference, I don't know if it's been mere hours or days. A bowl of water sits in the corner of my cage. I know from the dryness of my throat that I need to hydrate, but I have yet to muster up the courage to approach the bars that slither and rattle every so often. When I'm desperate enough to finally quench my thirst, the bars relievingly keep their metal forms. Feeling better now, I curl into a ball, and my tail cradles my face. I want to go home. Exhaustion catches up to me once again. Fall asleep on crusty metal, and wake on dusty wood. The sound of my wind chimes alert me into alert me into consciousness. My eyes snap open and my retinas are immediately burned by the color that floods into them. On the floor in front of me is a kaleidoscope of lights created by the morning sun. That is not the morning sun. A stark contrast, sorry. That is not a morning sun. We are in the Twilight Zone. stark contrast to the dark and dreary setting I was previously confined to. Maybe I dreamed it all in the feverish haze? I check on the gauze around my arm. It's still there. The weight around my neck brings me back into focus. Collar secured around my throat. Attached to it is a long and heavy chain that leads to the leg of a large wardrobe in the corner of the room. The bedroom. I take in my latest cage. There are no longer venomous bars to keep me, but the state of confinement has not changed. My eyes move from the rainbows on the floor, to the line of the chain restraining me, then to the rest of the room. I look at the windows and find swirling murals and expressive paintings of various creatures and monsters. The sun behind them illuminates the floor with speckles of color, like a stained glass window. Past the frame of the window, the drawings continue a nonsensical scrawl. Less art decorates the walls. The shelves with cracked plant pots and hanging tangles of ivy take their place. Dirty cups and bowls sit forgotten in a dark corner. I briefly note 2 shallow dishes near where I lay. They look like they would be used by a pet. Judging from the surprising lack of grime from under them, it hasn't been that long since they were last used. Dusty books and crumpled parchment litter the floorboards. Taking up half of the room is a canopied bed. Dark curtains are pulled tightly together, preventing me from seeing inside. The sound of scratching captures my attention. I drag my gaze past piles of books. There, sitting on a raggedy blanket, hunched over and scribbling over the print in a book, is Dove. She gnaws on her lip and pinches her brows. I can hear her whispering something to herself. No, no, no. That won't work. I slowly lift myself off the floor, cringing at the sound of clinking chains following my movement. Dove makes no move acknowledging my presence, so I continue approaching her. When I'm closer to her back, I'm able to get a better look at what she's furiously writing. Scribbles of occult symbols make the words on the pages completely illegible. I swallow a lump in my throat. The collar around my neck feels very heavy right now. Rip! Dove suddenly tears a page out from the book. The jarring sound makes me jump, and I slam into a tower of books, sending it toppling to the floor. Dread weighs heavily on me. I look back at Dove. She's now staring at me with wide eyes. You're awake? I release a small yelp and stare at her dumbfounded. Oh, she's blushy! She's definitely a monster. I'm just like, oh boy. She's brighter. Or maybe it's the luminous light filtering through the bedroom window. Something about it paints her in a rose-tinted lens that makes my wariness waver. The feeling instantly vanishes when she gets up and rushes towards me. I run away as fast as my legs allow me. My air supply is abruptly cut off, and I'm thrown off my feet. A sharp howl is pulled from my throat. I look behind me and see that the chain of my collar is pulled taut. I had reached its limit. I then see Dove standing in the spot I had bolted from. Her gaze creeps along the chain, making its way to my crumpled form. Icy blue eyes stare into mine. I shudder. Feels like she could unravel me through sight alone. She looks at me like she knows. Then she perks up, snapping the tension away. Oh right, you're probably starving. The others were also very skittish when they had empty bellies. Her voice trails off as though she's become lost in thought. She starts weaving through the mess of book piles to reach the bedroom door. Wait here. Don't have much of a choice. Dove returns with a bread roll and a bowl. She sets the bowl down a couple of feet in front of me and retreats back to chew on her own food. I tentatively approach it. The bread smells like heaven. I lick my lips on instinct. Must have been ages since I last ate, because I watch her tear chunks from it and mark every little crumb falling onto her white dress with yearning. I look down at the bowl she left for me. The sight of red fleshy chunks greets me. Raw meat. She gave me a bowl of raw meat. Can't eat this. Well, maybe I could, but the idea of it has nausea coursing through me. I stare at the fresh blood pooling at the bottom of the bowl. Then, I glance over at the bread, then back down to the bowl, feeling confounded. My stomach growls. Okay, on that note, my stomach is also a little boopy. My stomach growls. I can feel saliva start to drip down the side of my mouth. I can't do it. Are you gonna let it go to waste? Ooh! Ooh! Oh, did the window change? I'm like, did the window change? Dove's voice comes from right above me, and fear flutters in my stomach. Okay then. My eyes snap up. Dove reaches for me and I flinch, scattering away. She kneels in front of the bowl and dips her hand into it, crushing a fistful of squishy red meat between her fingers. I knew it. She brings the raw meat to her mouth. Watch her eat it. Bile rises in my throat as I watch her chew through the raw flesh and swallow it with a sickly gulp. Ooh! She covers her mouth with the back of her hand and gags, then looks at me. She smiles at me, her teeth stained in a glistening red. What a horrible taste! A thin stream of blood falls from the corner of her mouth. I suppose you'd like something a little more appetizing? She gags again, then runs out of the room. Hear the sound of her retching from another room. Dove returns with a new bowl of what looks like stew. I inspect it thoroughly, checking for insects or anything inedible. I surmise that there's nothing of the sort. Dig in greedily. My eyes begin to sting after the first couple of bites. The stew is so bland. Oh, I can't lie. This is the testiest wolf. Unless this wolf is a human. In the body of a wolf. That's like my other assumption. Yeah. It makes me yearn for my grandmother's cooking so badly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So we're not an animal, we're a cursed wolf? Is that the vibe? I think that's the vibe. From the corner of my eye, I can see Dove watching me like a hawk. Like all it'll take is a single blink for me to disappear. I believe that. Look at her. It scares me. She just ate that meat like it was nothing. Only I could. As I finish eating the stew, a soft thudding captures my attention. I look back to see my tail wagging against the floor. I feel myself shrink with embarrassment. I immediately cease its movement, but not before Dove takes notice. Looks like your energy has returned. Her eyes move to my arm. Does it still hurt? I stare at Dove and hesitantly put my weight on my wrapped up arm. The sharp pain is mostly gone, but a dull ache still remains. The opportunity for me to run away came. I could probably do it, but not without difficulty. I make a frustrated whine. Dove tilts her head at me, considering my reply. She approaches me again, slowly this time. I hold my breath as she comes close, her hands hovering near the collar around my neck. I'm suddenly hyper-aware of how quiet it is. There's no drum of rain, crack of thunder to be heard from outside. Hope dares to grow inside my racing heart. That hope, man. That hope always getting you. Will you hurt me if I take it off? I answer her. I shake my head slightly. Dove gives me a curious look. Her hands hover for a short moment. Then she nods. The weight of the collar lifts off my shoulders. Then I bolt. My swift escape shoves Dove aside. I barely see her get thrown to the floor as I make for the open bedroom door. Sorry. Dove makes a panicked noise behind me. Oh no! It fades out in my rush to leave her behind. Then I'm back into the hallway where the horrors began. I need to go back to the kitchen. Ooh, it's loud. Hold on. Please hold! I sprint to the stairs. Then suddenly, I'm skidding to a stop when a wall meets me at the end of the hall instead of the staircase. I stare in confusion. Oh no. Did I go the wrong way? I look around the hall. I don't remember seeing this many doors. A sinking feeling unravels in my gut. I run down a new hallway, then turn into another, then another. My exploration of the manor was cut short when I first arrived, so maybe I can't remember everything well enough. Oh, not the gaslight! But I swear, these are not the same halls I walked through before. After I turn into the 15th hallway in this new labyrinth, the sound of something being dragged cuts off my thoughts. I look behind me, fear pulsing in my veins. A ghostly figure slowly walks down the cross-section of another hall. I've seen this screenshot. Ooh. Yeah, no. They kinda bad though. Me at every monster. Ooh, kinda bad. What's your deal? Where you at? Sorry. I'm supposed to be afraid. Long hair protrudes from its head, running down to the floor stiffly like straw, and hiding most of its long, thin limbs. I watch it disappear around the corner, completely frozen in my spot. Another ghost. I've never seen one this corrupted before. Excuse me? Is this foreshadowing? Is this a hint? I now feel extremely vulnerable, like a beacon standing in the long, open corridor. A tapping noise is next. My heart pounds violently in my chest as I search for the sound. I immediately see another ghost heading straight for me. I yelp and crush myself against the wall, as if it'll make me invisible. Ooh! That one's fun. So the first ghost was like, kind of mostly white and red, but these two are black and white. Interesting. Okay. The ghost staggers toward me with bony knees knocking together. Ooh, that kind of sound. A thin veil curtains its upper body, and something that resembles a bird's beak peeks out at its chest. The closer it gets, the better. I'm able to make out the tiny detail of its leathery skin and the beady, bloodshot eyes that dabble across its face above the rotting beak. Tell me, it looks like there's a bunch of them, from what I'm looking at. Needle thin arms bend sharply at the elbow and reach back behind the ghost's head. It balances on its elbows and pulls itself forward on them. I make myself paper thin, shiver when part of its elbow brushes against one of my paws. I start breathing again when it passes quietly, then back away into an intersection of hallways. Another ghost almost tramples me. Ooh! Two ghosts follow one another down the path of the bird-like ghost. Wait, is this like Nurarihan? Like, what is it called? Parade of 1,000 yokai? Isn't that like, is that what I'm thinking? My history is so bad. The night parade of 1,000 demons or yokai, I think, is what I'm thinking. Like Nurarihan type of stuff. I'm like, what are they doing? Ooh, this one's cool. This has like, they look like little mushrooms. Well, these are fun. I love hands. I love hands on monsters because you're just like, it's horrifying. It's always horrifying. You're like, yeah. One is a cluster of what looks like fungi and twisting fabric that melts into bumpy flesh. A stringy network of mycelium trails behind it. The other creates a sound of glass crunching together with every step it takes. Ew. Yeah, that sounds really visceral kind of thing. Its arms stick out like pieces of wood that lightly swing as it walks, and where its face should be is a void framed by jagged, broken pieces of porcelain skin. It looks like the hands are its hair too. That's cool. I can still make out the raggedy maid uniform that clings to its bloated form. More! More! Like a line of school children, they walk along a well-known path. Normally when a ghost is corrupted from being trapped. Lisa, how do you know all this? I'm like, this is new information. Okay. But what I'm assuming is that Basil definitely got himself into some trouble. That's why he is a wolf at the moment. Okay, but let's see. Give me some info, Basil. Normally when a ghost is corrupted from being trapped in the land of the living, every semblance of their humanity is lost. So where do these ghosts stalk to with so much purpose? They navigate the hallways without hesitation, twisting and turning through a route already well worn. And so painfully easy, I have been led back to the kitchen. Woo! Oh no! I see Dove standing on the kitchen table, delicately twisting an incandescent bulb into the hanging light fixture. Dry black tears stain her. I do wish I could see some of that. Like if when she's crying, or like when she eats the meat, like if the blood could be there. Like, you know, because based on previous graphic novels that I've read, that would just be very visually, since visual novels this sounds so dumb. Since you know, with visual novels it's like most of the stuff you think of, but once if you decide to show like the character, it would just be very interesting to you know, show like the blood on her mouth or like the black tear stains. Like that'd be, because it'd just be very it helps with the atmosphere too. But yeah. All right, let's see what's going on. What's bumping? Dry black tears stain her cheeks, but her expression betrays no sign of dejection. Another bulb is held loosely in her other hand. This one has been burned out so badly that no light can penetrate its ashy, blackened surface. It took 40 years to develop this type of filament. The ghosts surround her. Oh! I watch them reach for her. I open my jaws to bark out a warning, but I choke on my rising panic. Dove doesn't notice them, continues to screw in the bulb. I read that these bulbs can stay lit for up to 1,200 hours. Claws brush against her skirt. And yet after less than a week, the legacy of lighting the dark has been snubbed out forever. One last turn of her wrist, light envelops the room. Something so wonderful. Dove stares into the bulb's light, and her fingers caress the glass. Only breaks in a place like this. The ghosts have vanished. Dove gives no hint of awareness for the presence that had just left them. My blood thuds in my ear. Could she not see them? I look at the door that I had used to enter the mansion. I hear Dove dust off her hands and toss the old bulb into a box, where it shatters amongst other pieces of glass. She sighs wearily. How long will this cycle continue for? I barely hear her words. Instead, I stare at the wall, where the back door should be, and there is no door. I immediately freak out. I run to the wall, ignoring the ache of my arm. I scratch at old wallpaper, hoping the door was only hidden behind it. My claws tear through wood, but as I continue scratching, the outline of a door does not reveal itself. Back away, staring at the shredded decoration, breathing rapidly. It's not there anymore. I turn my head up and see Dove sitting on the kitchen table, swinging her legs. She stares at the wall I had torn up and gives me a blank expression. I explode. My body ignites with fiery rage as I growl and snarl at her. Sorry. I want to say that, but it's you know. She frowns and her eyes turn downcast with guilt. I don't know how to get it back. It gave me more time, but it gave me like 5 more seconds, but I was still just like I look past Dove and see the window. I perk up. The window! We can break it! I pause and take note of how far the window is from the floor. Well, maybe not me. Dove sits on the table looking bored. I take a deep breath. Oof! Dove jumps and her eyes swivel down to me. What? I point my nose at the window, and it takes Dove a second to understand my gesture. She blinks, then turns her head to the window. Her lips frown in confusion. The window? She looks down at me with furrowed brows. What about it? My tail wags behind me. I ignore it and look around for something that will help her understand what I want. There's a large stool underneath the table and my ears stand up straight. Dove leans over, watches me drag the stool out with my teeth. I throw my body weight back, pull it out until it falls over, then look over at Dove and point my snout at the window again. She hops off the table and picks up the stool. She holds it up, still wearing a befuddled expression. You want me to... She raises a brow at me. Put it by the window? I huff. Throw it at the window? Yep! I nod and my tail wags quickly. Dove looks at the window hesitantly. Stares at her reflection in the glass. I've never tried breaking the windows before. Dove stumbles slightly when I grab the bottom of her dress to lead her to it. And I feel her slightly resist. I look up and Dove's face appears paler than I thought was possible. I see her swallow before she starts moving on her own. Climbs on the counter, stool in her hands, slips slightly in her grip. She wipes her hand on her dress. She raises the stool. My heart starts to quicken. The stool comes down, then stops. I whine in confusion. Dove stares into the window with wide eye. Follow her line of sight. Then I see it. Pale hand grips Dove. I looked past it, let out a sharp cry. Dove's reflection stares back with blackened eyes and a wide, distorted smile that leaks dark bile. I see Dove's hand tremble, then the reflection speak. Bad girl, You should know better by now. Ice spreads through my vein. Hear Dove's breath hitch, and I hear something else. Tiny, wooden footsteps fill the silence. I stay completely still, and slowly slide my pupils to see small flutters of movement from the shadows in my peripherals. I hold my breath. Footsteps start to grow louder. Hear Dove hiccup. My eyes slide back to her in panic. The reflection crushes— oh my gosh! The reflection crushes Dove's wrist. Black webs spread from where they touch. Its beady eyes crinkle as its grin stretches wider, and it pulls Dove in closer until their foreheads almost touch. Behave, Dove. The reflection barks out a howling laugh and shoves Dove away from the window. Dove shrieks and flails her arms. I yelp and throw myself under her to soften her fall. Crushes me with her weight. We fall into a messy heap on the floor. My vision swirls. My whole body rages in agony. The sound of the reflection's laughter fades away. Wooden feet start to retreat, to my relief. When we recover again, Dove stands on shaky legs, and I can see her trying to control the haunted expression she wears. She holds her wrist. Black veins now fade from where the reflection had touched her. I let out a soft ooh. Oh. Okay. I was like, yeah. That hurt because of me. She stumbles to the table and plants herself back on top of it. I whimper and go back to scratch the door more in desperation. I'm sorry. Enough. I'm tired of seeing you wallow in your despair. I reply with an indignant huff. I see Dove puff her cheeks in annoyance. I turn my head— she's so cute. I turn my head away and rest it on my paws. No way out. It's better for you to just accept it. A growl rumbles in my throat. Even the front door gone. Oh, even the front door is gone. So instead of wasting time, you may as well follow me and keep yourself occupied. Wish I could cry. My ears lay flat against my skull. I've landed myself right in the mouth, a carnivorous flower, with the sweetness of shelter to lure me in. I never considered whether it would let me go once I treaded past its sharp teeth. Take a peek at Dove. She doesn't seem to have any problem with being a caged bird. She's so I can't talk. Is she so comfortable living in these conditions that she can't even see how wrong it is? Can anyone possibly live like this? Her patience reaches its end. She slides off the kitchen table. I cry out when she hauls me off the ground. I bare my fangs at her when her face appears right before mine. My glare doesn't faze her. Follow, Wolf. There is much to do. Okay. I'm gonna save. Okay. I was gonna try to get to I was gonna try to like get to the next section, but I gotta go somewhere. So there's somewhere I gotta be. I'm famous. No, I'm just joking. I have some other plans today. But yeah, I'm really enjoying myself so far. I know I've been cracking jokes about the monsters by being like, hey, what's you about? Like, you know, but you know, I love monster design. I just think it's so cool. So even if it's pretty scary, I'm just like, ooh, fancy, you know. So, but yeah, this is a lot of fun. If you would like to, if anyone is interested in this game, there is— where did I get this? Sorry, I'll post it in the description. When I post this up, when I post the edited version up on YouTube. But this is a game where you can go and you name your price for it. I wish I could have given more because this is really cool, and I would like, you know, I love to support other artists and other creators because, like, you know, people in this world, unfortunately, we all want to create beautiful things, and sometimes all we need is just a little bit of monetary help to make something extremely beautiful, and I'm always here to support that. So I gave my name my price donation to play this game. I might even give some more because right now I'm really loving it, really kicking it. The mystery aspect of this game is really interesting. So I'm just like, ooh, it's like a mystery and horror and this and that. Ooh, I'm in, baby, I'm in. So this was good. Alright, this is what I get for eating at the same time and talking. This was fun. I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to learn more about Basil and Dove. I love the metaphors. You know, I love the metaphors, like, oh, trapped bird in a cage, like, she doesn't mind. Basil is just like, oh, I should have listened. Actually, now that I think about it, this seems very Little Red Riding Hoodie, because it's a girl and a wolf. So not lost on me if that was the thing. But instead of the girl being, you know, instead of the wolf being the predator in the woods, it's like the wolf is being entrapped by this girl instead, possibly. That's what you know, I love foreshadowing. I love good foreshadowing, and if that's a foreshadowing, we good. We Gucci, you know? Alright. Well, oh gosh, I hope you don't. Sorry. I didn't mean to slam it that hard. Alright. So, thank you guys for joining me today. It was a shorter stream today because, well, I'm a hot mess. What's new? But, yeah, I still don't know, I did want to stream around 10, but, I think from now on I might just have to go a little like later in the day. I woke up really early today too, but it's just I was trying to like sleep a little more. But yeah, we'll just have to. We're gonna play it by ear. Eventually, I'll find kind of like a sweet spot schedule for this, but it should be fine. But all right. Thank you so much again for joining me today. Let's hope that I continue this next week. But oh, I have some events coming up. I am assisting in Baldur's Gate 3 fan event at Endgame Bar in where are they? I don't know. I'm just always like in Arizona. If you're in Arizona, like Central Arizona, I believe it's Tempe. If you'd like to go to Endgame Bar, hang out with us hosting Baldur's Gate 3 event, please check it out on Beacon Events on Instagram. If you sign up, pre-register RSVP, you get a fancy little cup and a D20 Illithid themed dice. I believe for $36. You also get some stickers. You get a lot of goods. You know, I hope I'm selling this well. And then if the cup is just a little too much for you, we also have a lower tier in which you still get the D20 illicit dice. So I say you give it a look. And if not, you just come and hang out, get some good drinks at the end game. Oh, hopefully it is 21 plus though, so hopefully you're 21 plus. If not, I'm so sorry. and then I will also be at Game On Expo the weekend after. I'm tired. I am perishing. But, you know, we're gonna make the best of it, okay? Just as Dove and Basil are making the best of their situation, so will I. Alright, for real. Thank you so much, you guys. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay well. Keep on smooching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Night-night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Ooh.